Hey guys, in this video, I will be comparing Phil Heath's 2010 and 2020 versions in this episode of 10-Year Difference. In both, Phil did not win the Olympia, however, he was extremely close to that title, at least placings-wise. Now, before the video starts, if you enjoy my content, please consider liking and subscribing, as it helps grow my channel. With that all being said, let's get into this video. Here's the first pose, the front double, and this shot is very telling of the changes that has happened in Phil's physique over the 10-year span. Now, firstly, the thing that I notice and the most glaring difference is his midsection, which has never been a quote-unquote aesthetic one. However, in 2020, it's just a train wreck. His hernia and the surgeries he's had really messed up his abs, and although the waistline remains the same size, the actual midsection throws the entire pose off. That being said, he has managed to keep his impressive arms, albeit losing a bit of fullness, especially in the triceps and the forearms, but has also lost some overall quad size. The sweep is still there, however, you can notice that the teardrop muscle has lost some considerable size. His lats in 2020 are also downsized a lot. However, the overall integrity of the pose is still there, I'd say. He just looks a little downsized from 2010, keeping the same sized arms in 2020, but clearly looking worse overall. The front lat spread was never a good shot for Phil, however, he does hit the shot much better earlier on in his career, which is clearly evident for 2010. Everything flows pretty well, his lats flare out nicely, and he creates an illusion of width. In all honesty though, 2020 doesn't look horrible either, presenting an impressive V-taper, relative to Phil Heath of course, great arms, full chest and delts, and good quads. Sure, the quads are a bit smaller than in 2010, however, the overall package he presents still looks proportional apart from the lats, which have clearly regressed. I know this may be a controversial opinion, however, I've always been rather impressed with his 2020 front lat, as he looks really good for himself apart from the lats in the midsection. Obviously, though, 2010 wins this one without a doubt, but a decent showing for 2020 nonetheless. From the side, Phil has managed to maintain solid fullness and muscularity even at the tail end of his career. Moreover, I'd say that he's made some improvements, judging that the side leg shows a bit more cuts and detail, as well as more size in that hamstring. Upstairs is practically one-to-one, as both versions have outstanding, round, three-dimensional muscle bellies, fullness, and condition. 2020 does a good job at hiding that midsection while showcasing his dominant delts, chest, and arms. I will say that 2010 does look fuller in the tricep and in the brachialis, which was noticed in the front double. However, I'd honestly give 2020 the lower body. I am very impressed, and I honestly commend Phil for bringing in an outstanding, superb look in this pose after 10 competitive years. The rear double has always been a dominating shot for Phil, during his prime especially. However, both versions show him right before or after that window. In 2010, Phil's back wasn't as wide as it would become, whereas 2020 shows a downsized back, regressing a lot from 2018 in terms of thickness and wow factor. That being said, 2020 does retain the increased size of the traps, along with better lower back development. He also looks a bit wider, however, that is to be expected, as his back really only improved up until 2020. 2010 does have better arms, while both are comparable in the hamstrings, glutes, and in the shoulders. Once again, Phil's worst version still presents a very competitive package from behind, and rightfully so, as he placed third in 2020. The rear lat spread is almost the same story as the last pose, except the arms play zero role now. Immediately, I would once again give 2020 the edge in the back, since it looks wider, thicker, and overall larger. Hamstrings and glutes look fresher for 2010, which is to be expected, while 2020 presents dense, granite-like condition in those areas. In 2010, Phil's back was nowhere near what it would become, and I'm still not surprised that 2020 wins the back, as it was still reminiscent of his prime Olympia-winning days, just with less overall pop and fullness. Here's the side tricep, and this pose is going to play out very similarly to the side chest. In 2020, his side leg is larger and drier, with that amazing hamstring drop. However, 2010 shows a better quad ham tie-in. Like in the front and in the rear double, you can clearly see that 2010's tricep and forearm are considerably larger than in 2020, while the bicep, shoulder, and chest all look very comparable. Phil's midsection in 2020 does look pretty decent, considering all the damage that it's taken, presenting a tight, controlled midsection relative to 2018 or 2017. Personally, I do prefer the way that he presents his chest and delt for 2020, but come on, it's undeniable that 2020 has a better tricep and more fullness. The ab and thigh is kind of like the front lat spread, as he was never an aesthetic demon in this pose. Like in the other shots, 2010 handily beats 2020 in the quads, the midsection, and in the lats, so this pose should basically be judged and done. Really, though, there isn't anything on Phil's 2020 version that is remotely better than 2010, so yeah, he really lost it in this pose. Now, here's the final pose, the most muscular, and this shot is the complete opposite of the ab and thigh, as he looks nearly identical. Both versions have super full chests, delts, arms, and quads. However, the only true difference is the distended midsection of 2020. Apart from that, they look one to one. It kind of reminds me of Ronnie's most muscular in 2007, where he looked super freaky, completely reminiscent of his prime days, unlike any of the other shots he hit. Super impressive pose, one of the best in my opinion, and even in his final days, he still hit the shot to perfection. Alright guys, so that about does it for this video. Now, the real takeaway from this comparison is that after 10 years, Phil managed to bring a similar set of legs and arms, better hamstrings from the side, but a wrecked midsection, and worse lats from the front. His back actually did improve, especially in the traps, however, he did lose some fullness, and especially aesthetics that he once had. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Let me know how dramatic you think the difference was, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.